Hi friends, in our time together I'm going to walk us through the tune Wayfaring Stranger. Early versions have a few different names, but this is the most popular that we all know. I'm mixing up the complexities of some of the tunes I introduce. Wayfaring Stranger is traditionally a beginner tune, but don't think that because this is listed as an easier tune, that it's an easy tune. This beautiful tune presents challenges for players at all levels, and that's why I wanted to introduce it. It will help each of us develop and build our skills. It's also a perfect example of how a tune has a certain flow to it at its core. You would recognize this tune being played. However, hardly anybody plays it the same way. I listened to over 20 recordings trying to glean the most consistent flow of the tune so I could transcribe it. And I ended up transcribing the tune with a reasonably consistent flow because there's no 100% agreement between any of the folks singing or playing this tune. And the tune has been, wow, played by everyone under the sun. It feels like it's a rite of passage. If you want to sing folk songs or play instruments or bluegrass, you have to learn this at some point. And it's a very popular tune for the whistle for us. So I'll play through the tune standing so you can see my fingers. I will add a link in the notes to this video so that you could download the music and tabs if you'd like that. We'll talk about some challenges, different ways you can express and emote the tune, as well as a little bit about the history of the tune that we have. So I'll play through Wayfaring Stranger. There are a lot of phrase repeats, and I'll introduce you to a couple of them before I play it. So the first phrase repeat we're going to get is this one. Okay, that appears 1, 2, 3 times in the tune, and then that single measure appears quite a few times in the entire tune. So I'll play through it for us. It's a beautiful tune that we can play emotively, hauntingly almost, especially on our low whistles. The tune stays fairly well in between the lowest and the highest notes, so that's one of the reasons people say it's a beginner tune, because it doesn't cause you to stretch your abilities to play really low or really high notes. It's not running all over the place, but it does present challenges. The challenge for a beginner is to simply learn to play the tune, to get the sequencing right, to get the flow and the rhythm of the tune. So that's why it's excellent as a beginner tune, because you can get some early successes. The challenge for a more advanced player is to find a way to emote the tune so that you feel like you're telling the story behind it. Think of this tune more as an air, or the popular version of a slow air, which is where you're telling a story but still following a set tune. So it's a beautiful tune. Please don't cling slavishly to the way I introduced the tune just now, or even to the printed music I provide. Find folks who you like how they play it and imitate them, but please learn it based on the music I've provided and the way I just played it. As far as expression and ornamentation go, the tune has some repeated notes. That gives you the opportunity to use a variety of ornaments to differentiate between them, and however you would like to do that. You also have, as you're learning to emote it, you'll decide if you want to fade somewhere, experiment with that, possibly experiment with some vibrato, sliding into a couple of passages, because that provides some beautiful emotion as well as the tune goes. And I do encourage you, I'm also going to provide a link to the words. Go through the words to get a feel of what the tune is talking about as we're learning to play it. You know, we don't really know anything about the author of the words or the composer of the tune itself. The earliest record of the core of this version of the tune is in the early 19th century, and that is actually the version of the words, not necessarily the version of the tune as we know it. Many feel the song originated in the southern region of the Appalachian Mountains in the late 18th and possibly early 19th centuries. There is a printed version of a book called The Collection of Revival Hymns and Plantation Songs, printed in 1883 by Marshall Taylor, that actually includes the words to Wayfaring Stranger, but set with a very different tune that I tried to play, and I like the newer tune so much better. The version we know today, where this music and these words were married together, comes out of the early 20th century, and the first recording of it was made in 1929. And since then, as I said earlier, almost everyone has crafted their own version. Time for you and me to craft our own. And I imagine that a number of you have already learned this well. And so that's great. The words tell the story of someone traveling through the difficulties and trials of struggles of life with their eyes set in hope to a future where all will be well and they will be free of sickness, toil, and danger, and reunited with loved ones. And like I said, I'll add a link to the lyrics as well. And I think that the current version of the tune marries so well with the words. So have a great time learning this tune, playing it. If you already know the tune, my challenge is see if you can express it even more emotively. Learn and experiment with some other ways on our low whistles in particular to emote this tune. Until next time, my friends, this is Scott Shade. Happy low D whistling.